Welcome to the presentation on Risk Management Regulations and the Code of Practice in Workplace Safety and Health Risk Management. Under the Risk Management Regulations, all companies in Singapore must conduct risk assessment and risk management. This is regardless of the size or the industry that the company is in. This is to ensure that all companies conduct risk assessment and risk management to make the workplace safe and healthy for the employees and visitors and contractors working there. The good news is there is a code of practice in risk management that spells out clearly, step by step, what needs to be done in order to comply with these risk management regulations. This video aims to give you a quick overview of the regulatory requirements as well as the code of practice in risk management. This is brought to you by Faith Tay of Bond International Consultants Private Limited. Hi, welcome to the presentation on Risk Management Regulations under the Workplace Safety and Health Act and the Code of Practice in Risk Management, brought to you by Bond International Consultants Private Limited. The Risk Management Regulations stipulate that all employers, self-employed persons, and principals who manage contractors and subcontractors, as well as contractors and subcontractors, must do the following. Firstly, to conduct a risk assessment to identify all the workplace risk before commencing work. Secondly, to implement reasonably practicable measures to either eliminate the hazards or to reduce the risk. And thirdly, to establish safe work procedures to control the risk. Fourthly, to disseminate all this information to employees and others who are affected by the work. Under the Risk Management Regulations, there are offences and penalties. Any employer or self-employed person or principal who fails to comply with the following requirements of the Risk Management Regulations is deemed to be guilty of an offence. Number 1, to conduct risk assessment for all the work in a workplace. Number 2, to take reasonably practicable measures to eliminate or reduce safety and health risk. Number 3, to establish safe work procedures if the risk cannot be eliminated. Number 4, to specify the roles and responsibilities of persons involved in implementing the risk control measures and the safe work procedures. Number 5, to keep records of all the risk assessment. Number 6, to inform employees of the nature of the risk involved and the control measures or safe work procedures implemented. And number 7, to revise the risk assessment once every 3 years or upon any accident or major change. The first offence under the Risk Management Regulations is a fine of up to $10,000. For second or subsequent offence, the fine is up to $20,000 or 6 months jail or both. We now go on to the Code of Practice in Risk Management. The Code of Practice spells out exactly what needs to be done to comply with Risk Management Regulations. This Code of Practice was first published in 2011, revised in 2012, and revised again in 2015. This is how the Code of Practice looks like on the cover. In the Code of Practice, it spells out certain forms and matrices. The recommended risk matrix is this 5x5 risk matrix with numeric rating. The recommended RA form is also shown here. The Code of Practice also spells out how employers should appoint teams to look into risk assessment and risk management. In section 5.1.1.1, the Code of Practice spells out that all employers must appoint a risk management team leader with risk management team members. In section 5.1.1.3, the RM team appointed by the employer must be multidisciplinary, diverse with representation from major stakeholders of the organization's operating functions. In section 5.1.2.1, the RM team leader must be competent for the task. In order to be deemed competent, he should attend a course, like the BSAFE Level 2 course called Develop a Risk Management Implementation Plan course. The good news is this BSAFE Level 2 course is a WDA accredited course. Therefore, it comes with funding. There are two types of funding involved. The first funding is up to 90% of the training fees being paid for SMEs. For non-SMEs, it is up to 50% training grant. On top of the training grant, there is also an absentee payroll funding as well. In section 5.1.4.1, it spells out that for big organizations, you need to have one central RM team and several RA teams. The RA teams will look into specific risk in the separate departments or locations. The picture shown here in this slide is taken from the Code of Practice. In sections 5.1.4.3 to 5.1.4.4, the Code of Practice spells out that the risk assessment teams should have representatives from both management and non-management levels, and it should also include personnel who are involved with the work, including contractors and suppliers, and persons who are familiar with the design and development of the site, machine, or process. In section 5.1.4.7, the RA team leader must be competent to lead his RA team. To be deemed competent, he has to attend the BSAFE Level 2 course as well. The good news again is that the BSAFE Level 2 course is a WDA approved course. Therefore, it comes with two types of funding. For SMEs, the training grant is up to 90% of the course fees. For non-SMEs, the training grant is up to 50% of the course fees. On top of the training grant, there is a second funding called the absentee payroll funding. In the preface of the Code of Practice on Risk Management, it says that large companies tend to have one central risk management team to oversee the coherent deployment of risk management throughout the company, and many RA teams to assess specific risk in specific locations or departments. The RM team has the responsibility to steer the overall organization's risk management effort. In small organizations, the RM team can also function as an RA team. So to appoint RM teams and RA teams, typically a company would drop the organizational chart, including all the locations, departments, and line functions. With the org chart drawn up, the company can then appoint the RM teams and the RA teams accordingly. There is no fixed ratio as to the number of team members versus the company staff strength. It really very much depends on the line functions and the specific nature of the risk in each department and location. That's why the org chart comes in very handy here. Besides that, the latest revision in 2015 in the Code of Practice spells out specific responsibilities for the human resource manager. The Code of Practice spells out the following. In section 4.4.1, the HR manager must ensure that a robust recruitment process is in place to choose suitable job candidates who are able to meet the position requirements and the workplace safety and health obligations. In section 4.4.2, the HR manager has to specify safety and health responsibilities in the job descriptions of employees and ensure that these responsibilities are effectively communicated to all the employees. In section 4.4.3, the HR manager must ensure that all new employees are given appropriate and sufficient orientation and workplace safety and health training to equip them with the relevant knowledge, skills, and abilities to succeed in their positions. In section 4.4.4, the HR manager must support the employer and the manager to ensure that RA, risk controls, and safe work procedures are effectively communicated to all the employees. In section 4.4.5, the HR manager must ensure that workplace safety and health training and other related RA records are properly documented. In section 4.4.6, the HR manager must work with the managers and the RM or RA leaders to consider safety and health outcomes in employees' performance evaluation, remuneration, and discipline, and to ensure consistent behavior and practices in line with organizational expectations. In Section 4.4.7, the HR manager needs to implement programs that support and maintain employees' safety, health, and well-being. In Section 4.4.8, HR manager must participate in the workplace safety and health inspections of the organization's premises to ensure that workplace safety and health legislations are followed and workplace safety and health issues are promptly addressed. In Section 4.4.9, in the absence of a HR manager in the organization, the equivalent person undertaking such a work profile of the HR manager should execute the duties mentioned above. For more information, you might want to refer to a book called The Zero Success: 7 Surefire Steps to Effective Workplace Safety. This book is available for sale at Bond International Consultants Private Limited, or from the bookstores or from the library. Thank you for listening. If you'd like to find out more information as well, you might want to go to our website at www.bond-intl.com. We are a WDA approved training organization for all the BSAFE courses and also a MOM approved auditing organization for BSAFE Level 3 audits. For more information, you can also go to the Workplace Safety and Health Council website as well as the MOM website. Thank you very much for